guys, and welcome to my channel. With sorority recruitment coming up for lots of schools around my area, I thought this would be a great video to make to kind of help girls out, give you my experience with rushing and recruiting girls, give you some tips and tricks, what to expect, things like that. To start off though, if you don't know what rushing is, it's a process you do in order to get into a sorority. It has 4 main days. There's Leadership Day, Philanthropy Day, Sisterhood Day, and Preference Night. Some schools, split them up varyingly. When I rushed 2 years ago, we split Leadership Day up into 2 days. But when I was recruiting last year, we crammed Leadership Day into 1. Another point before I begin is that I don't know how it is at other schools, but for SDSU at least, there are 9 sororities and we are required to rush every single one of them, whereas most fraternities, they can pick and choose which ones they're rushing. I don't know if it's because, there's so many more fraternities at our school than our sororities, or if that's how it is like at most college campuses. But starting off with the first thing to expect, it's something you kind of just know is going to happen, and that is to lose your voice. And if you don't lose your voice, at the very least your throat is gonna hurt. I never lose my voice ever, and I did lose it during recruitment. A lot of times it's not even like, of course you are talking to a lot of girls, but in my opinion I feel like it's because you have to talk so loudly is why you lose it so quickly. When you're rushing, you are packed into one house with hundreds of girls. You're gonna have to talk really loudly because the house is already so loud with all these girls having the same conversations. So that is why I think you lose your voice. It's probably a combination of talking a lot, talking loudly. Another thing to add on this point is that a lot of girls get sick during recruitment, and in some cases it causes them to drop out of the rushing process. So if you are someone who's very prone to getting sick easily, I would suggest trying to get as much sleep as you can during recruitment, not stressing about it so much. Tea is your best friend if your throat hurts, if you're sick, because the last thing like people or girls that are recruiting want to see is you not to be able to reach it till the end of recruitment, potentially get a house that you match perfectly with because you're sick and you have to drop out. So that kind of goes hand in hand with that. My next point is expect your feet to hurt badly. Even if you are not wearing super high heels, your feet will hurt. And for my school at least, I feel like these sororities are relatively pretty close together. Some of them are a little further away, but it's not anything like too meaningful of a distance apart from each other. And as the days go on, you're going to less and less houses, and so it's not like you're walking a whole lot, but mostly because you're wearing, those heels all day or those shoes all day, you are going to develop blisters. And if you are lucky enough to not get blisters, your feet will still hurt. You hear horror stories of girls that have crazy blisters and they're disgusting and they're so painful and they still have scars on their feet. I didn't have anything super gnarly like that and I wore heels. But I did get blisters and they did hurt very badly. So just be prepared for that. If you have new shoes, try and break them in. I saw a couple things on Pinterest I used when I was recruiting last year. If you put on some thick fuzzy socks and then put a hairdryer on them, it'll usually loosen them up so it won't be rubbing on certain parts of your foot as much. So you can do that, walk around in your house in them. And you can put on band-aids on your feet where you think they would rub before you go out. But moving on to my next point, so many people are worried about their outfits and what to wear. And I know when I was rushing, I was worried about my outfits because mine were not the cutest, but outfits truly do not matter. As long as you're not wearing anything crazy inappropriate, your boobs aren't falling out, and you're not showing, all of your stomach, most of the time, it's probably good. Really, it's all about your conversations you have with the girls you're talking to. Typically, when girls ask me what to wear, basically it goes from, you know, more casual until like cuter as the days go on, because the days are getting more important. You're having longer conversations, getting to know the girls better. I know last year when I was recruiting, a lot of people were wearing super cute jeans and skirts, and then I even saw a couple skirts, you know, moving forward into philanthropy and sisterhood day. And preference night is where you wear kind of like your nicest thing. It doesn't even need to be crazy nice, you know, just a cute outfit with some simple sandal heels. And shoes varied from girls. I wore like these kind of chunky heeled sandals. I wore them for a couple days though, and you know, they worked with multiple outfits, so I wore them multiple times. You don't need to be going out and spending hundreds of dollars on getting brand new outfits. The girls recruiting you are talking to people all day long for like 4 to 5 days in a row, and so we won't remember what you're wearing. Thinking about how stressed I was about my outfits freshman year, and then thinking about how I viewed outfits the following year, it was crazy, because it truly does not matter. Your conversations will always outshine what you're wearing in a heartbeat, and that goes for good conversations too, not just bad ones. But moving on into talking topics, this is another thing I was worried about. You're just gonna be having a conversation, but with that being said, there are some things you should probably avoid talking about, such as drugs, sex, alcohol, boys, partying, things like that. You know, I feel like most people will be able to tell that, but if the girl you're talking to, you know, brings up things like that, I would do your best to just talk about something else. I don't know if some sororities purposely do that to like try and trick you or things like that. I've never heard of that, but in case that does happen, just kind of move on. Whether they're trying to trick you or not, it'll show like you want to talk about something more meaningful anyways, and that's what you should want to do. You should want to talk about, you know, what you like to do, what your morals are, like who you are as a person, just to see if you'll fit in with the girls that are in that house anyways. On the other side of the spectrum, things you should talk about should be things a little more deeper than your major and, you know, what year you are. And I know that's like probably what you'll start talking about, but try your best to take that one thing that you're talking about and move it into something that's more personal about you. That way you are remembered by that girl. Talk more about, you know, like something fun you did this summer, something funny that happened to you, you know, things like that. So if you're talking about things that stand out more, you are obviously going to be just remembered easier, I guess. And then going along with like talking to people and girls, we're not kidding when we say be yourself. Like, this is honestly, like, rushing is thought to be the most intimidating experience ever. I told you guys, I was so nervous. But after I went through it and after I recruited girls, like, you're just talking to people and that's it. And that's kind of what I told myself when I was going into the whole process as a freshman, because I was so nervous. Talk about, you know, your interests, talk about your hobbies. If you're just genuinely yourself throughout the whole process, it will work out in your favor, I promise, no doubt. With that being said, kind of the harsh reality of it is that not everyone is going to get their top house. Some people might not even get a house at all. And that's me being blunt, it's me being honest. With the amount of girls that rush, there just physically isn't enough room to accept all these girls in all of the houses. Where you end up is probably where you're supposed to, whether that's in a house, whether that's not in a house. Some people won't get their top house, and it may be, you know, a house you think you're meant to be in, and you love it so much and you want it so bad, and you just don't get it, and you get a bid from a different house that you didn't like as much. And my advice for that is to just roll with it. You don't know. Just feel it out, you know, go to like the bid day experience. Just go put a smile on your face, even, you know, if you don't want to. Just try and have fun. Maybe you like it more than you think you do, and maybe you won't. And if you won't, you can, you know, resign from the chapter, and then you can rush again the next year. I feel like there's really nothing to lose by rushing. Whether you get in a house or whether you don't, I feel like you will take things from the experience as a whole. Just like how I view all experiences in life, I think you'll take something from every experience. If someone asks me my thoughts on rushing, it is and always will be, I think it's a great idea. I think it's the #1 way to meet people. Whether, at the end of your rush experience, it ends in your favor with your top house, or, maybe you don't end up getting a bid from a house. I think it all ends up how it's supposed to. And even though sometimes it's hard to see that, especially if you don't get, the house you really fell in love with, I think it's just important to, look back on your experience and take things from it that you learn and you can use for the future, and basically just better yourself from it. But other than that, I think those are all my little tips. I hope they helped. I hope it gave you a little insight on what rushing is all about. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope my little tips and tricks help you guys out. Hopefully it eased your worries. It's really not as scary as it seems. Go in with an open mind, be yourself, just talk to them, they're people. I hope it gave you some insight on what my experience was like and what you can expect with your own. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.